In January 1990, two soldiers from the 14th Intelligence Unit shot dead three small-time crooks as they robbed a betting shop in Catholic. As they lay on the ground, they were machine-gunned. A continuous line of holes was stitched across their coats. In all, 22 bullets hit them. The speed and aggression of the attack left witnesses numb with shock.
So when the two was on the ground, the most vivid part that I remember was them riddling them.
What, the...
Riddled them on the ground.
They shot them while they were on the ground?
Shot them when they were maybe dead.
These young men were triggered into eternity. That distressed me. One naturally had to ask, couldn't they have been captured? Did they have to die?
But according to two eyewitnesses, one of whom was on his motorcycle, the shooting didn't end when the soldier had emptied his machine gun into the two men. The second soldier walked over and delivered the coup de grace.
The other soldier, he came over and stood above the two bodies and put two bullets into each body as they were lying on the ground, sort of upper chest and head. That's what shocked me the most, because the two guys were obviously already had it.
McNeil and his accomplices had driven up in a stolen red car. He stayed in the car as the other men with replica guns ran inside. Moments later, two plainclothes soldiers drove up behind McNeil. One ran up to the driver's side and fired 6 shots, some at point-blank range, into his head. The police have not been able to find witnesses to this shooting, but we have. A woman was standing next to McNeil's car, and she says the soldier gave him no chance to surrender.
We were walking up the White Rock Road, and then we heard the skids of a car. So we turned around, thought it was joyriders, and there was these two fellas, one was running up towards us, and we heard a shot, and I threw myself to the ground, and just had to turn around and see where it was coming from, like. And there was this man standing shooting into the car, and like, I didn't hear there was any warning, didn't hear nothing. After the shooting had stopped and the fella was choking on his blood, he was still in the driver's seat, just sitting there, and he was leaned over to the left, just hanging there.
Last December, the DPP said the soldier who shot McNeil would not be prosecuted. He didn't say why. We know the soldier thought he'd stumbled upon a heavily armed IRA gang. And as in the Robinson case, he claimed that McNeil had made a movement, as if going for a gun. But no gun was ever found, so why should McNeil have made a movement to get something that wasn't there? We understand the RUC and the DPP thought McNeil could have had a gun and that it was removed from the car by a hostile crowd. But that reasoning is flawed. We have traced every person who entered the car, but had anyone really intended to remove incriminating evidence from the scene, the most obvious item was this replica machine gun magazine which fell from one of the robbers. Yet it's clear no one tried to remove it. Although the DPP's decision not to prosecute was greatly influenced by the suspicion that McNeil had a gun, this wasn't a point the RUC pursued further. They interviewed 6 out of our 7 witnesses, but only 2 say the police questioned them in any detail about whether they'd seen a gun or anyone interfering with the car, and not even the key witness was questioned on this vital point.
That you cooperated